Oh God, I'm gonna watch Watchmen again. Or is it I want to watch Men again? No, let's not go there. Let's not. let's delete this recording right now.
I think we have our opening. Hey guys, welcome back to There Will Be Expletives episode 49. I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron.
And okay, on the previous episode, Ron, I pitched we need to hire the Deadpool marketing team to try and boost our subscriber base, okay? Fuck that idea. I'm gonna need you to get sexually assaulted by a bear. It worked for Leo, don't give me that look.
It's true, it did. I can't argue with that.
There
is a precedent.
If they hadn't have given him one for being raped by a bear, there was no way Leo was ever going to win one. Because it's like, you can't get more method than being sexually assaulted by a fucking grizzly bear. It doesn't even have to be a grizzly, Ron. I will settle for panda. We just have to get the news out there. All right, we're going to start off with some Oscar-related news, hence the Leo. A quick aside, I was incredibly happy for Leo.
I was, too.
He has been shat on so many times by them that it was just like... Yeah, like, I wasn't, like, blown away by The Revenant, but I'm happy that movie happened just because of that, his award.
I'm still sad it wasn't, like, Blood Diamond that got it for him or something, but... Yeah, that is cool. I was sad though that the memes may be disappearing, and we have a whole new set of amazing memes now.
I sent you the one with the grave from Arrow, right? That was one of the good ones.
That was one of my favorites, and then that and the one with it sitting in the floor and him just texting on his phone. That was a good one.
There was one really funny story too. I didn't know this, but the actual Oscars themselves. Don't come pre-engraved so they can keep it a surprise. They actually have on site like 3 or 4 people who engrave them for the actors right as they're leaving. And this was a true story. This was Leo making fun of himself. So Leo is in line about to get his award engraved, and he's just small talking with the girl who was going to engrave his trophy for him. And he was like, "So do you do this every year?" I wouldn't know. I was like, I fucking love Leonardo DiCaprio, dude.
That's amazing.
But yeah.
Podcast is over. We just led with the best story of the night.
Yeah, we really did. So, not only did the Oscars finally love Leo for once, but they fucking loved them some Mad Max. I was floored by this. What was more surprising than Leo getting one was this story. Mad Max won 6 Oscars.
That's incredible. Especially for the type of movie that it is.
It is. We were talking earlier off mic. Mad Max getting nominated for anything is so the Academy, because what the Academy loves is, first of all, the Holocaust. If you put anything near the Holocaust, it's automatically nominated for something.
Yeah.
And then for Mad Max, which is, as Mark Bernardin famously...
It felt like the Holocaust, so maybe this.
Which, as Mark Bernardin put it beautifully, it's a story about, hey, we're going to go over there, fuck that place, we're going back. That's the whole fucking movie. It won 6 Oscars. Now, it didn't win any of... like the big ones. Yeah. It was mostly technical stuff, but it even got a nomination for Best Picture. A movie with the plot that I just described was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. Blows my mind. The other cool stat from the Oscars, second place was The Revenant. Guess how many it won in total?
4?
3. Mad Max doubled up the second best. That's fucking insane. It's fucking insane.
What was Leonardo's victory specifically? Best actor?
Best actor in a leading role for The Revenant. Supporting actor was...
Because I wasn't sure if he was in a leading role or in supporting role to the bear.
The bear should have brought home Best Supporting.
Wasn't there someone there in a bear costume also, like up on the balcony?
Oh, I wish. What was funny is I didn't watch any of the Oscars until I saw people start rumbling it was about to be Best Actor. I actually turned it on to watch the Best Actor thing because I wanted to see Leo not win and then just like a massive group of bears just be unleashed on the Academy. Because could you imagine if he hadn't have won, Twitter's reaction? It would have been a disaster for them.
Dude, next Witch Doctor I make in Diablo 3. totally gonna be Leonardo DiCaprio, and the primary move's gonna be the zombie bears.
Yes. You can name him. This one's for you, Leo. So I'm not gonna list out what all Mad Max won, but Google it just to see what all it won. It was a lot of like stuff like sound editing. They might have even won
on strings, playing strings. So
he should have also been best supporting actor. Dude. I mean,
best supported actor.
I see what you did there. It's just really cool for the Academy to pull their head out of their own ass and actually give Mad Max, which deserved all of that stuff.
Well, like I said, I feel like after all the Oscars so white stuff, that they just tried to be as un-Academy as possible. Mad Max did deserve to win something. I mean, I'm not going to argue with it winning 6 because if it won, it won. But if it didn't win anything, that was going to be total bullshit because those people, like, what is the death tally of people that made that movie? Like, how many stuntmen have we lost in Hollywood?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of dudes in the Australian desert who are never going to be found again. Never going to be found again. All right, that's going to be a cap to the Mad Max portion of it. But
speaking
we're gonna
of never being found again,
speaking of it, we're going to switch to a movie that is never going to win an Oscar, and that is the Legends of the Hidden Temple adaptation.
Why? Please tell me it's a black guy in front of a blue screen the entire time.
Okay. You're telling me I can't get an Uncharted movie made, but goddamn, we're getting a Legends of the Hidden Temple movie.
Oh
there are no words for the level of what the fuck Hollywood.
Who would you cast for that?
No one, because it shouldn't fucking happen.
But if you were in charge of casting,
who do you have anyone in mind? I can't wrap my mind around this story. Period.
I don't know. I'm torn between like Eddie Griffin or Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
No. Team up movie. Eddie Griffin, Carrot Top.
Yes.
Fucking gold. I would watch that.
I would watch that too.
The only reason I included this story is because what the fuck? Like there's like video games just in general right now. If you just look at like the landscape of what all could be adapted, right now we have 2 that might be good in Warcraft and Assassin's Creed. So much shit is just sitting there. Last of Us is still on rumor stage. How the fuck is that not?
I don't know. It's basically a movie, also not to the point like Uncharted is, but
it's Naughty Dog, so it's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Like I just don't get it. For more details on it. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up because no one gives a shit. It is going to be a Nickelodeon live-action adaptation. It is going to be a feature-length movie because, goddamn, we need more Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Who's that even targeted towards?
That's another good point.
Because
everyone who even knows what it is
like
you or me.
I was going to say, I feel like anyone younger than you probably don't even know what the hell that is.
And I barely remember
because I was surprised you knew what it was.
Yeah,
to be honest, it's like what 6 years between us.
I barely remember it because when it was a thing, it was kind of like dead mid '90s, right? So I was like 4 or 5. So it's like just some of the earliest stuff I can remember. So anyone who even knows what it is going to be either your age or my age and can be like, why the fuck is this even a thing?
Because, I mean, I get some things that come out that you're like, oh, this was amazing when I was a kid. I'm going to take you too, son. This is not one of them.
It's just strange.
This is not something that I would just have to take my child to see because I remember it fondly. I didn't even watch it.
I watched it and I couldn't care less because it's a game. It's like... Are we gonna have like a Double Dare movie? Like,
right?
Is that next? Like, I don't fucking know. But seriously, Nickelodeon, like, what the fuck? That's his.
I wonder how many Raiders of the Lost Ark in jokes there will be.
Oh my god! Don't even start it because. Well, first of all, you're assuming there's a script. There isn't going to be a script to this. It's just going to be bullshit. It's going to be people running from point A to point B, but not in a cool Mad Max way. It's going to be horse shit. It's just going to be
people in the audience have to vote in what happens next.
Probably. All right, we're going to talk about adaptation that actually matters.
Dude, with digital movies, you could actually do that. It could like pause, and then people vote in like 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then it just picks the next video on the hard drive.
Can we have like a Game of Thrones episode where you pick who dies? That would be pretty interesting. Yeah, we're gonna move on to an adaptation that I'm incredibly interested in, and that is the adaptation of Stephen King's The Dark Tower, which has basically been in pre-production for like 15 years, like something ridiculous like that. I'm not even being facetious. Like literally 15 years they've been trying to get the shit off the ground.
I know, it was just the way you said it.
Major news today. Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey both officially signed on for it, and the news broke via Twitter. Stephen King was tweeting about it. Entertainment Weekly broke it, I think. And what was kind of funny is Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey were like giving each other shit in tweets back and forth, like already like Civil War style, like Chris Evans and Robert Downey have been doing. And Cap and Crossbones, yeah. They were kind of talking smack back and forth when their tweets.
You see, I am excited because I'm always for more Idris Elba, but I'm also disappointed because I'm always for less Matthew McConaughey. So.
See, I was always with you. And basically what kind of turned me around on Matthew McConaughey to where I'm open to see what else he can do was True Detective, which you really, really need to watch because I adore him and Woody Harrelson in season 1 of True Detective. Fucking amazing show, and season 1 was just incredible. Season 2 is still worth a watch, but season
I just
1
look at him
awesome.
and I see Jim Carrey on Saturday Night Live like doing.
You didn't even like him in Rain of Fire? I thought you liked that movie.
That was back before I guess it was as well known that he's as batshit crazy as he is.
Well, I mean, in his defense, 98% of Hollywood is batshit crazy. You just don't know everyone is crazy like 100%.
Rain of Fire and Sahara were fucking awesome movies.
I mean, I'm saying though, like my point is like 98% of Hollywood are a bunch of batshit assholes.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean it's. And Matthew McConaughey is a batshit asshole, but he's not like Tom Cruise level batshit insanity. Like
I don't know, he's pretty close.
Idris Elba is going to be playing Roland Decane, the gunslinger, the lead role. Matthew McConaughey is the Man in Black, the villain. I cannot wait for it. The director, I'm blanking on his name, but I want to say he had done something recently I liked. We'll fact check that real quick. I think Ron's looking it up. This was actually a book series I am just on the verge of reading because last Christmas I picked it up on Amazon.
The poster for it's cool on IMDb.
It's a book series I've always really been.
Shit, how do you say this name?
Yeah, it's something
Nicolas
like
Arcel.
It's something Swedish, I think.
I'm just gonna call him Swedish Fish from here on. It looks like he's mostly known for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, A Royal Affair, The Absent One, and Keeper of the Lost Causes.
Oh, he did. He looks like he helped with the actual original like Swedish version of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I was thinking he was helping with David Fincher's American remake. I liked the remake of it, the American one with Daniel Craig. I have not seen the original one though, so I actually haven't seen his work. But they must have a pretty damn good script going for the adaptation to be able to draw in Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey, because as we've often talked about before, Idris Elba, like just based off how much people want him in their stuff, like he can kind of be choosy but what he actually signs up for. So I'm excited for it. I think they're talking 2017 for the release date.
If you're curious what I'm staring at, he was listed under miscellaneous crew for a movie called Antichrist in 2009.
That's God, what's the director's name? It had Willem Dafoe in it though, didn't it?
Willem Dafoe is he, Charlotte Gainsbourg is she, and Storm Asheshi Salstrom is Nick.
What's the name of the director for Antichrist? Because that's going to bother me now. It's
Lars von Trier?
Yeah. That if you haven't heard some of the shit that happens in that movie, like it will just terrify you. It is disturbing as shit, dude. Like it was one of those where it gained traction just based off how fucked up it was. So crazy batshit Willem Dafoe movie. But yeah, so you're pretty interested in this just because of Idris Elba?
Oh yeah.
I'm incredibly interested in it. I really, really love Stephen King. Have you watched 11/22/63 yet?
I haven't started yet. I'm behind on everything, unfortunately.
I've been really, really digging 11/22/63, so it's cool to see Stephen King is synonymous with his horror stuff, but some of his best stuff has nothing to do with horror, like 11/22/63 and Shawshank and Dark Tower. Like Dark Tower has elements, but it's more like sci-fi westerny type. Yeah, which I'm excited for.
I'm definitely all over that. Anything Stephen King and Idris Elba.
Yeah, dude, Idris Elba as the lead in a sci-fi western is just like make your fucking mind explode. Next up, a movie we are both looking forward to immensely, and that is 10 Cloverfield Lane. Well, during their press junkets and stuff like that, J.J. Abrams, famously...
Ever the tease,
has been talking about another idea they have for another Cloverfield project post 10 Cloverfield Lane. I'm going to talk about his quote that he was... Let's see... He was saying, "I would be lying if I didn't say there was something else that, if we're lucky enough to do, could be really cool that connects some stories." Said Abrams, who also hinted at a larger conceit behind the films. This is just this movie, him referring to 10 Cloverfield Lane. And it's only 2 films that we're talking about right now. There's something else that we'd like to do, and hopefully we'll get a shot. So they have an idea for a third film. Very, very interesting that... The impression I get from his quote is that you're really not going to know, maybe by the end of 10 Cloverfield Lane, exactly how much it ties into the first one.
Right.
Because the way he's talking, it's almost like the idea for the third thing wraps all 3 of them together.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and fucking JJ, like the most cryptic dude on the planet. Like
JJ knows marketing though, and I feel like he'll get a shot at the third one because those 10 Cloverfield Lane trailers are amazing. Everyone I know that's seen them wants to see that movie. And the way he went about doing it, just out of nowhere, this movie just comes out of nowhere. No one even knew it was being made or anything until the trailer surfaced. Yeah, I mean, it's just...
It's absolutely astounding anyone can even make that physically possible in 2016.
Yeah.
We've already seen the entirety of Suicide Squad just because of their set photos.
Yeah,
you've seen Doctor Strange walking around because they didn't even know
they had security too.
Yeah, no one even knew this was a thing until they attached it to that fucking Michael Bay movie.
And by doing that, it blew everyone's minds and they talked about it. And then more people that didn't see the trailer went out and sought out the trailer.
Yeah,
It's brilliant. A stroke of genius.
It's brilliant. And it was very similar to what worked so well with the first one. Yeah. And why I think they will get that third film is because the first movie made an ungodly amount of money.
Yeah.
And this sequel... It
has a cult following.
It has a cult following. Now it has name recognition. And third, this new one looks incredibly low budget. So it's all profit because for the most part, it looks like it's going to be 3 people talking in a bunker.
Yeah.
Which... I mean, they'll occasionally have scenes where they go and show shit outside, but for the most part, it's just 3 people talking in a room. Mm-hmm. So you're talking license to print the fuck out of some money.
Yeah,
because that's going to make some bank. I think it's going to do really, really well. It's coming out the 10th or the 11th, something like that.
Well, 10th probably midnight.
So coming out in a couple weeks. We were actually this weekend watching the first one again to get back in the excitement for it. So yeah.
What's your theory on it? My theory is that this is taking place at the exact same time the first one is. To me, it's not a sequel. To me, it's like the other side of town or something. Yeah.
My thing, I often...
Or like in a suburb of that city.
I often try not to delve into stuff like that too much just to avoid accidentally spoiling it for myself in case I'm right, if that makes any sense.
Okay. I get what you're saying, but it's still weird.
Yeah. Well, it's just like when you're talking about Garmin and Kevin Smith speculating about Star Wars, one of their theories was right, so you had something accidentally spoiled for you, even though they didn't know for sure it was the thing. It's stuff like that. I try not to speculate, but I can see how it could be happening concurrently, because this is also... It wouldn't shock me if they had some real twist going on with it, where it was even more mind blowing than the fact that it's not a sequel. It's
knowing JJ, I expect that to have my mind blown at the end and then credits.
Yeah, it's going to be something. It's going to be something.
I really feel like that scene where she's outside and you see the bright light with the house in front,
close to the end,
and then credits.
Hopefully they don't pull a full-on quarantine where they have the exact scene as the ending in the trailer.
I really feel like it's going to be something like that.
I hope not. But I think it's going to be a very, very good movie. I cannot wait. We're going to move on. Next up in the news, we're moving on to the comic-related portion of the day. And first up, this is a really, really cool story that I didn't even know was a thing until just a few hours ago.
As soon as we get off, too, I'm looking this up.
J.K. Simmons...
Actually, I'm going to look it up right now and see what we're at.
Whom basically is one of the few people everyone in the world can agree is just kind of the shit. I mean, who doesn't like J.K. Simmons? One of his most famous roles was Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man Sam Raimi trilogy. Well, since Spider-Man is coming back this time in the MCU, there is actually now a change.org petition that has been started by fans to get J.K. Simmons back as JJ. And I think Ron is voting right now as we speak. What are they up to now?
2,300 supporters.
So... first of all, this story is just amazing. It's really, really cool. This is even a thing.
There's without a doubt that casting J.K. Simmons in the role of J. Jonah Jameson was another perfect casting choice. Just like RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., as Tony Stark. He was just so damn perfect in the original Raimi trilogy, and to use anyone else is absurd. They didn't even dare to try recasting him in the Mark Webb reboot.
That is a good point. They never even touched on it.
And only had a cameo as an email. That's because they know that it's impossible to get anyone else for this role, even though J.K. is 61 years old now. Age doesn't matter since he won't do much physical action, and it would be the right first step to reintroducing us to the new Spider-Man. Yes, I am very serious.
Signed, J.K. Simmons.
Letter to Kevin Feige, recast J.K. Simmons.
So... first of all, just the fact that this is a story is awesome. Second of all, J.K. Simmons actually talked about how he would be totally open to going back and doing it again. Because he said filming the Spider-Man movies with Sam Raimi, I guess he's buddies with Sam Raimi. He said it was one of the most fun experiences he's had as an actor.
Dude, every one of those scenes were gold.
Yeah, they really... I mean, we've still got how many memes today because of those Jonah Jameson scenes. Now, I am always the person who does get irritated by continuity, but I don't give a shit about this time. Like, they would have
Jeff makes an exception.
They could have J.K. Simmons back as J. Jonah Jameson, and I would not even care. Like, you don't have to explain it. It doesn't matter. He's just so perfect for it. Like, he is as good in that role. It's obviously not as marquee of a role to nail with an actor's choice like Robert Downey as Tony Stark, but he was fucking perfect in that role. I'm having a conversation by myself because Ron is actually typing in his address to fucking vote for this. Good talk, Ron. Good talk.
Good talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I signed it. So now we're at 2,301.
Fuck yeah. That has the Robo Expletive stamp of approval.
Take me back, goddammit, already. I want to see if it's changed at all since we've been talking about it. Oh my god, change.org, you're getting as bad as everyone else out there. It's really going to make me research for this, Jeff.
Well.
This is like working with IGN.
Can we start a change.org petition to change the servers at change.org?
2,301. 199 needed to reach 2,500. I'm tweeting this out later, actually.
So, okay, here's a question. Do you think, since they obviously stayed way the fuck away from it in the Andrew Garfield movies, do you think we'll get a JJJ pretty soon in the MCU version?
I think we will, as they can't avoid him forever, and if they're bringing in Spider-Man like into the world of the Avengers, not saying they're bringing him in as an Avenger, but if they're bringing him into that world, you have to have JJ and the Daily Bugle. There's no way. You have to have him. I want him naming some of the villains and stuff, too.
It actually works pretty organically because of the plotline they have established in Civil War is that the main reason there is a Civil War is because a lot of people look at them as vigilantes and not heroes.
Right.
Who is the number one person at the face of all that?
Right.
Is J. Jonah Jameson. It makes sense. It makes sense. And I mean, this is mostly a joke story because this is not going to happen.
No,
they won't do it, but it would be incredible if it did happen.
But with all the casting that we've seen out of the MCU when they do bring JJ back, it's never going to be as good as J.K. Simmons again. but it's gonna be pretty damn good. I think.
Yeah,
They have not disappointed. I have a feeling too, if they do cast him when it's announced, it's gonna be someone that you and I like scratch our heads like, what the fuck? But they'll probably knock it out of the park.
Do you think they'll go unknown?
They probably will. I don't think anyone would want to follow J.K. Simmons, especially with as much as he's loved.
Yeah, because it is what's so odd.
That's not quite being the next Wolverine, but it would still suck to be the next JJ.
It's a hard replacement to pick. But how weird is it looking back at the casting of those Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies?
Yeah,
because like some of them are just like Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe and J.K. Simmons,
all wasted,
all just brilliant. Perfect casting choices, and then your Spider-Man is Tobey Maguire. Like, come on, guys, come on. Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane. Dude, what the fuck?
I'm the saddest about William Dafoe as Green Goblin, and I'm also sad that he knocked it out of the park as well as he did, because in The Amazing Spider-Man, when I heard Chris Cooper was going to be Norman Osborn, I was like, fuck yes, they did it again, and then he was just on his deathbed the whole movie.
Yeah, what was up with that? Why did they even bother getting Chris Cooper for that role?
I have no idea, but they didn't even want to try doing Norman Osborn again after William Dafoe's performance. So, William Dafoe and J.K. Simmons.
And you know what
they didn't want to replace.
What's so funny is the Amazing Spider-Man movies were the polar opposite as far as the cast, because the two they really knocked it out of the park with were Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy and Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. Like, they were absolutely perfect. And then you have Jamie Foxx as Electro for no reason. Like, it's just so weird. Like, hopefully now that it's in the right hands with Marvel and Kevin Feige, they'll all be across the board picked really well.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Looking forward to, especially because
I guess it all depends on how much say Sony has in the casting with their agreement.
Yeah,
because we got to remember it's not back in Marvel's hands. They have an agreement with Sony, so Sony may still be able to intervene.
They do have an agreement with Sony. The impression I get that for them to go out of their way to make that agreement happen, they're cashing the checks Marvel's going to get them, and they are not as involved as it might appear.
That's what I'm hoping.
That's the impression I get. We'll know pretty damn soon.
Marvel, please save us.
There's going to be some.
Please save us with your property.
There's going to be some. There's going to be some Spider-Man stuff in Civil War. We just don't know what extent.
That's like, I buy something from you that you can't wait to get rid of, and then me bringing it back and like, show me how this works.
Exactly.
I'm the guy that buys your used car and won't leave you alone. That's Sony and Marvel,
basically. Now, if only they could get Fantastic Four away from Fox, it would help.
Fan Four Stick.
Yeah. Speaking of Fan Four Stick, we're going to talk about some Fox news. And
Fox.
We have talked multiple times about the Channing Tatum Gambit film that right now is looking a little, I don't know. They officially removed Gambit.
How do you know what it looks like since it's missing?
They officially removed Gambit from their release schedule, adding in its place 2 untitled Marvel films. Now, someone made a good point. It might have been on Nerdist, it might have been somewhere else that I saw this at. These 2 untitled Marvel films, one of them could be Gambit, just in a different slot.
Right.
But a lot of the times when they just change a date, they'll just say Gambit is now in this slot instead of 2 unnamed Marvel films. So. Now,
it could be that it's unnamed because they're reworking it where it's not a Gambit solo film anymore. But
they're going to put... one thing's for damn sure, Deadpool's going to be in as much shit as they can possibly throw him in.
Right.
This was another crazy thing while we're talking about Deadpool real quick. Deadpool is going to end up being, on the projections, the 3rd highest solo superhero film that basically didn't include Spider-Man or Batman. That's
what in the
shit. That's batshit. So my thinking is these 2 untitled Marvel films both going to be rated R.
Probably.
If one of them isn't Gambit, one of them's going to be... Both of them are probably going to be rated R. Do you have any guesses on what we might be seeing? The first one that popped up in my mind was X-Force with Cable and Deadpool together. That's the first one that popped up in my mind.
I think that's one of them. I've been trying to decide what the other one is. I was trying to remember what all properties they still have. It's just down to X-Men, isn't it? And Fan Four Stick.
Fan Four Stick. Let's do rated R Fantastic Four. We're actually showing the thing schlong now. Yes.
Fantastic Four featuring Deadpool.
I'd watch it. Make Fantastic Four a hell of a lot more interesting. Dude, how amazing would it be Deadpool in the Fantastic Four movie making fun of how shitty the Fantastic Four movies have been, like meta, like he did about X-Men. Yeah, I don't know. There's a whole lot of random X-Men properties they could do. Another one they were talking about was New Mutants, which was the comic series that Cable and Deadpool both first appeared in, but it's not X-Force. It was like a different team. Dude, you have to have a fucking flowchart to follow X-Men.
Yeah.
Like, their comics are impenetrable. It is just insane. Like, I am the resident comic expert. I don't read any of them. I can't fucking tell you what's even happening, because to read X-Men, you have to read like 12 different comics to understand what's going on. It's stupid. It's been that way for a long time. Yeah, I don't know about the other one. Any guesses?
No, I mean, all they have is Fantastic and X-Men, because everything else is reverted back to Marvel, right?
Yeah, and this doesn't include Wolverine 3, because that is still on the docket to be rated R, upcoming.
Yeah, so, these are 2 additional.
If I had to guess, the Gambit will be bumped for like a rated R X-Force or something along those lines with Cable, and then probably the other one is Gambit. They just don't know when they want to actually get around to doing it. They've had so much development help.
I have a feeling it's not Gambit anymore, though. Gambit's probably in it, and he may be one of the leads. But I have a feeling it's not Gambit anymore.
They're probably mining.
The thing that was great about Deadpool was definitely the star. He was solo through most of the film, but he also had other supporting actors to play around with that kind of offset his personality. In Colossus and Negasonic, I think they're going to be doing more team ups, but instead of like Avenger style team, 2 and 3 characters. Yeah. That formula worked really well in Deadpool.
This was a long time coming for Gambit, though, because their release date for Gambit was in 2016. They don't even have a fucking director at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
Like, if they do, he just signed recently.
This month was supposed to be when it went into production, was sometime this month.
Yeah. We'll see with that one. If it never happens, I won't be heartbroken. I would have been curious to watch it because I watch everything comic related.
And in the cartoon, I always fucking loved Gambit.
I like Gambit too. It was just like we talked about before, that tagline of sexy heist thriller, not exactly doing him any favors. Yeah, we'll see. I am excited if they
had to use sexy when they have fucking Channing Tatum as Gambit. Yeah. Like, they just couldn't resist. They're as bad as I am.
Although it would be funny to see some Deadpool Magic Mike in jokes, because they would. We got one more Marvel little tidbit to talk about real quick, but it's transitioning over to TV. Now, we've often been talking about Iron Fist. Is it a thing? Is it not a thing? Apparently, it's looking like it's a thing because they officially cast the lead role. Finn Jones, more famously known as, what is it, Sir Loras?
Yeah, Loras Tyrell.
Yeah, the brother of the current queen in Game of Thrones. That's is that right?
Yes.
Anyways, okay. There's you have to have a flowchart to follow Game of Thrones characters. He has been cast as Danny Rand, and
so many jokes that can be made too, given certain attributes of his character in Game of Thrones, and then Iron Fist.
Yeah, but we're gonna leave that one where.
No, I just want to leave it where it lies. So I'm not gonna touch that one.
Yeah, your thoughts on this casting?
Well, to be honest, I don't know jack shit about Iron Fist, so I'm cool with it. But
you can't go wrong with Game of Thrones actors.
Yeah, I don't subscribe with the controversy around it though. But he's gonna be good. He's really good in Game of Thrones. To be fair, that's the only thing I know him from. But
if you are casted in Game of Thrones, you are a fantastic.
If you're
actor.
casted in anything HBO, for the most part, and his character in a Game of Thrones, you couldn't really call it a political drama, but it has a lot of political drama in it, and his character is at the center of a lot of that.
I think you could call it. I think it's like a fantasy political drama. Like, it's not like, we're not talking House of Cards.
Yeah,
but it's pretty political. Like,
yeah, and with his character being at the center of some of that, and him being interesting and everything, he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah, and another thing to point out too is that there's so many characters in Game of Thrones. If they can say, so we've casted this guy for Game of Thrones, and you can immediately pinpoint him when he's not one of the leads, it means he's very charismatic.
Yes.
Because he makes an impact in a short amount of scenes. So And he's pretty charismatic in that role. We don't see him very often, but we know who they're talking about. So I think it's a good choice. I agree with you. I also don't really agree with the controversy surrounding it. I don't really want to delve into it too much because
But for those that don't know what we're talking about, Iron Fist in the comics is a white dude, and people were hoping that they would cast an Asian guy, and they cast a white dude. And everyone is saying that Marvel has missed their opportunity to bring in more diversity and have an Asian actor play the part. But I do subscribe to the theory that is even more of an insult because not every Asian person has to know martial arts.
It's the Asian version of whitewashing.
Yeah, basically. So, like I said, we're not going to go too far into it, but just if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, it was blowing up Twitter the other day. And Zoe Saldana.
It would have been completely different if he was originally an Asian character and they just turned him into a white guy.
Right.
That's not what happened, but that's almost like the reaction level of what it's just really weird.
What it boils down to, like we said off mic, is if they cast a white guy, which they did, it'd be you should have cast an Asian person because he's a martial artist. But then if they had cast an Asian person because he's a martial artist, they would have been like, you can't do that. That's racist. And plus, he was white in the comics. You're not going to win. It's a no-win situation.
You really aren't.
Kobayashi Maru or whatever. Is that right? Kobayashi Maru?
Yeah. It's actually a fantastic segue to our next news article.
You're welcome.
Because Nicholas Meyer, known for directing and co-writing Wrath of Khan, which originated the Kobayashi Maru. Good job, Ron. Good job. High five.
I'll take it.
High five.
It was totally unintentional.
And you did a fantastic segue. I'm proud of you right now. I'm proud of your accidental genius. He has been added to the CBS Star Trek writing team, which I am still like, fuck this show because of CBS All Access. Just because fuck them and their idea of that. But what I'm hoping for is that like we talked about before, that first pilot episode hits huge and that second episode doesn't do shit because who the fuck owns CBS All Access?
Right.
That they were like, fuck it, put it on TV.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping will happen. But
because between this dude and Brian Fuller, like I really want to, especially if they start getting some good actors for it.
I have never been interested in Star Trek until the reboot. And the rebooted JJ movies.
Yeah.
So because of those, I want this show, but not enough to pay $6.99
for just that. Well, dude, you're getting NCIS Broken Arrow, like fucking NCIS Tallahassee, all the bullshit they have now. It's ridiculous.
NCIS 10 Cloverfield Lane.
But I added in our description that's going to be posted along with the stuff that he is a fan favorite because of Wrath of Khan. I know you haven't gotten around to watching it, but Wrath of Khan is one
in
of those,
a roundabout way. I have seen it.
Basically, Wrath of Khan is one of those movies where even people that don't like Star Trek still like Wrath of Khan because it was just a good movie. It was a damn good movie. But I'm similar to you. I never really got into Star Trek that much until the JJ stuff. I always did like Wrath of Khan, though. That was the one I gravitated towards. Because my brother and my dad, I think I probably talked about it before.
I never saw any of the movies because I couldn't get into the TV show, and I didn't want to just go into the movies not knowing any of the characters or knowing what's happening or the world or anything.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wrath of Khan is pretty, like, the only knowledge you need, you've already got from the JJ movies. Because it's all the same character. It's just... it was a good movie. I still recommend, even though you have no attachment to like pre-JJ Star Trek, I think it's still just a good movie just to watch.
I always liked the concept of Star Trek, though.
Yeah,
it just wasn't executed the way I wanted it to be.
What I liked about
the original series, no fault of its own, it wanted to be what I wanted it to be. It just never got any budget to do so.
They had a whole lot of styrofoam.
Yeah, paper mache rocks because they couldn't even afford to travel to an actual desert.
Yeah. But Wrath of Khan, like one of the things I liked most about it is I'm a big fan of movies, particularly like World War II, like submarine warfare.
Yeah,
the way that they film their battles, it's almost like because like they have one scene with where they're fighting Khan. Yeah. They're in like a nebula type thing where they don't know where the other ship is because their sensors are all fucked up. Right. So they're all like silent, like it's a submarine battle. It's very, very cool. Like cool stuff like that. brought to you by that director that I think is very, very smart of them to bring him in for the show. I think it's going to be a good choice because you've got like Brian Fuller who will bring his own flavor to Star Trek, and you're bringing like an old school fan favorite. Like it was kind of like with Star Wars, like bringing Lawrence Kasdan mixed with JJ. Like it could have that effect to it. I think it'd be really cool. Another really cool collaboration we're going to talk about real quick is Ridley Scott and Tom Hardy are
two of our favorite people
on the planet. Yeah, fucking. How can you not go wrong with those two?
Should be two of your favorite people.
Yeah, asshole, non-viewer. Ridley Scott and Tom Hardy
This is why no one listened.
They quit listening a long time ago. They didn't even get to that part. Ridley Scott and Tom Hardy, both producing. Tom Hardy is the lead of a little show called Taboo, which if you have not seen the trailer yet, go watch it because I don't even know what it's about, but it's batshit. It's Tom Hardy being Tom Hardy, and it looks fucking amazing to me. It is a mini-series. I don't know if they said how many parts it's going to be. I'm going to assume like 6 or 8. That seems to be kind of like the go-to amount for these mini-series events, kind of like 11, 22, 63. That's going to be 8. Yeah, watch the trailer.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah, me too. I really like it when they can have a balls to the wall story brought like that, because it's one of those things where it's kind of like the perfect storm. It's like it didn't get blazed over like a movie does sometimes.
Yeah.
But it didn't get like dragged out to the point of being dull like a TV show that ran for 5 seasons does.
I think with The Night Manager and 11/22/63 and this is going to be the new formula. It used to be you made a book into a 2-hour movie and condensed it as much as you can. Now I think it's just going to be balls to the wall, 8-part miniseries, all like crazy. And then you can do everything justice.
And because it's the golden age of TV...
Oh my God, could you imagine how many Harry Potters there would have been?
Right. Or another really, really good one that I think... I really liked the movie, but would have been better as this format was Watchmen.
Yes.
Watchmen would have been a fantastic miniseries. That
yes.
If like...
As done by the Netflix rated R people.
Oh my God, like... That'd have been so incredible. But I mean, we are now just squarely in the golden age of TV because Ridley Scott is producing a TV show. Like that's insane. Tom Hardy is producing and leading a TV show.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like Tom Hardy can have any role he wants now.
Yeah, award-winning director, and does Tom Hardy won or just been nominated?
He's been nominated a couple times, but he hasn't won one yet.
In TV miniseries.
He's like, damn, if I only had gotten casted in the role that got raped by the bear.
If only I had played the bear.
He's fucking fantastic in that movie, though.
Yes, he is. I have never hated a character that much in my life in a long time.
I don't know if you've seen Tom Hardy. Like that dude. First of all, he's eventually got to run into cool voices, right? Like every role, he's got like a cool new voice.
I know.
He's a fucking genie, dude. Like I don't even know how he like. Revenant, you can barely understand him half the time, but he's still like an amazing character.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I was proud of the Oscars in that they actually didn't take a lot of shit because for the most part they kind of nailed all the choices.
Yeah.
And I appreciated them not tying Best Picture in with Best Director because for a long time running, that was always like a dead giveaway. Where like we have to watch the ending of the show, like you know who's won. And then recently they've been trying to mix up that formula because as much as I liked the performances of like Tom Hardy and Leo in The Revenant, it wasn't like a particularly great movie. So yeah.
It needed to be like 30 to 50 minutes shorter than what
Couldn't
it
help
was.
but notice it didn't get nominated for editing.
I don't think they did any.
It's just like Leo's just like getting attacked by the bear. For the love of God, cut the scene.
Again, not a bad movie.
How many in-jokes to Leo and the bear have we had in this episode?
I don't know.
Like 17. It just doesn't get old.
That scene still disturbs me more than anything I've ever seen, though.
No kidding. But yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, check out the trailer for Taboo. One quick note: we figured out in the article for it, it's going to be aired, I think, simultaneously on BBC in Britain and on FX in America. Yes. So it's going to hit some big viewership. And I don't even know if that's ever been done before to have like a simultaneous thing, because Night Manager, I think, is being on both, but I think it's already out in Britain and it's coming out later.
There was something that was simulcast on BBC One. What was it?
It's pretty rare, though.
Yeah.
They're doing Doctor Who now, but it didn't start out that way with Doctor Who.
No, it didn't. Which, by the way, it's gonna be a long fucking year without Doctor Who.
Makes me so sad.
I don't know. I'll have to research it. There was something just a few months ago that was simulcast over here on BBC
It's
One.
rare though.
So,
yeah, it's gonna be pretty. I think it's gonna be pretty big.
Speaking of Night Manager, though, watch it too,
dude.
I cannot wait.
FX and AMC are killing it. I think. FX has kind of dropped off a little bit with like stuff like Sons and Justified ending, but they're still pretty good. Like this, I totally agree with you. I'm all on board the miniseries train. Like,
yeah,
especially when you're able to pull in A-list actors now. Like that makes all the difference for me. We're gonna finish up with a couple of gaming news stories. First up. This is something neither one of us can really talk about because the last time we played a Pokemon game was like 6 years ago. But Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon are a thing. First of all, they got some awkward-ass names for these Pokemon games now.
Yes.
Like, what happened to, like... I mean, I know they eventually ran out of colors, but Pokemon Moon and Pokemon Sun just sounds kind of odd to me.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I assume the special edition will be Star. And everyone predicted Black and White would have a gray version, but that never happened.
I'm kind of fond of Pokemon Uranus. I would have appreciated that one.
But yeah, I don't know.
You are notorious for hating everything Pokemon's done since what, like Black 1 and Black and
Black and White was the one that killed it for me.
Oh, you didn't even say. I thought you liked those, but you didn't like so you didn't even like those.
Phil was the one that's still into those.
So what was the last?
And he's into X and Y, which there was no Z version either. Seems so obvious.
So which was the last group that you liked? Was it like the Ruby and Sapphire ones? Was that the ones before Black?
No,
I get them all mixed up.
Platinum would probably be the last one.
The last one I even played. Well, obviously,
I didn't like the generation of Pokemon, but I really enjoyed like the story aspect of Platinum.
Okay,
but I don't know. My favorite is probably Red and Blue or Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Yeah, I mean,
Emerald is second probably.
I was in like third grade when Pokemon hit really huge in America, so it was just crack for me. So I played those Game Boy games religiously. I have a lot of nostalgia for them because I told you they had a trailer for, I think it was Yellow, like the re-release they're doing.
Yeah,
and they played that music from it, and it was just like nostalgia buttons all over. Like,
yeah.
So the last one I played was actually Soul Silver. That's how far fucking behind I am.
Yeah,
I haven't played any.
That's not as far as you think, though.
Well, in Pokemon years, like, consider they release like 17 every year, like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, that was that right after Platinum or right before Platinum?
I don't even know. It's so confusing. But I haven't played Black or White. I haven't played.
Soul Silver was a really good remake, though, and Heart Gold.
I was like a crack addict to Soul Silver. Like, I was just like in my room.
Yeah.
As like a 20-year-old playing those games religiously.
I really wanted to play the Ruby and Sapphire remakes, but they're 3DS only, so...
My fucking 3DS hasn't been touched in 3 years. I will let you borrow my 3DS. It's not like I'm using
my wife
it.
now has a 2DS, so...
Yeah.
But...
I might as well have waited for that because I play my 3DS with the 3D off.
What kills me on X and Y is the Digi-Evolutions.
What about that pissed you off?
Well, I want to play Pokemon, not Digimon. I don't need the Digi-Evolutions. Digi-Illusions, whatever they called them.
I think even Phil's like the real Pokemon fanatic, and even he, I think, had problems with X and Y because he said like they were so easy he beat him in like no time.
That's one of the things that pissed me off in Black and White. Like right from the get-go, they put a fucking bad taste in my mouth because I like after like 2 hours of gameplay, I'm still in tutorials. That's not an abstract number. It's like right around 2 hours of tutorials.
And who hasn't played one of those games before?
Right. Like seriously.
The whole point of the game is that every year they have a new one.
I remember being to the point of tears in Red, Blue, and Yellow trying to beat the Elite Four because it was just so fucking brutal. It was my first introduction to Dark Souls. And fucking... these games, you don't have to put any thought into it. You know, I mean, I don't know. They're just getting to the point that they're not even fun anymore. They're not a challenge.
Let's be honest. They're just there to make money, and they make all of the money.
Yep.
Because
I do not blame the Pokemon Company at all.
They have the most
or Nintendo.
They have the most genius thing going with those games of releasing 2. Because, like, honestly, how much of extra production time do they have to put into that to get that second one done?
All they do is pull 11 Pokemon out of one,
exactly,
and throw it in the other.
And then like a lot of people who are like Phil that are that diehard have to have both of them.
I do,
and then like just
all the way up to I have Black and White, and then I think I have White 2 and Black 2.
All of those generations, they were able to sell the same product twice like that.
The only one I never had was Sapphire and Heart Gold. I have a Heart Gold off of eBay, which is apparently a fucking copy, and it doesn't even work half the time. But so technically, I have a Heart Gold, I guess.
For them, I don't even want to know how much money they make off of every release of these games, because it's got to be just ridiculous.
Oh God, you know,
like probably the only thing keeping Nintendo around is Pokemon.
The thing that kills me now too is you and I are huge fans of like creature design and
Dark Souls. We go gaga over every boss.
And the original 151 Pokemon, even your least favorite one, still has a really cool looking design. And then when you go into Gold and Silver, like you get like fucking Hoot and shit like that. And Ruby and Sapphire, you get Bidoof. But you know, the original 151 are still my favorite generation because of creature design and story and gameplay. But there are some really cool ones in Gold and Silver, but after that, they start getting less and less and less cool in design.
You know what we need Miyazaki from Dark Souls to go design a Pokemon game. Could
you fucking imagine?
I want a Pokemon that's just like entrails. That's all he is.
Could you fucking imagine what some of them would be like? Muck, for example. Dude, did you imagine how fucking evil Mewtwo would be?
I actually would be all over. Like, I'm not even
Groudon and Rayquaza.
I'm not even really into the Pokemon games anymore. But if they told me Hidetaka Miyazaki was designing Pokemon, I'd be like, day one, both games. I'll buy it. Can you imagine if he was a director, how hard that Pokemon game would be?
Oh my god! It'd be like Red and Blue all over again.
It would be even worse, dude, because he'd be like, "Oh, these sons of bitches! We lulled them into a nice slumber with these last few, and then let me have my turn with them. It'd be incredible."
One of my absolute favorite memes of all time, though, is so true, and I sent it to Phil, and it was like Pokemon then. And it's like, I need to train up all of these effort values so I can get like this speed and this attack and da-da-da-da-da. And then it's like Pokemon now, like, I'm an earthquake, all you motherfuckers! And that's pretty much all it is.
Basically.
Especially since they made it where you can use TMs over and over again. Earthquake's one of them.
Yeah. So, for those of you, I feel like we've just been shitting on Pokemon like relentlessly, but if you are into it, it will be coming out holiday 2016. Don't they usually come out in like October?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Look forward
the
later
new
this
craze
year.
lately, though, is closer to Christmas.
As close to, well, like the latest they can go is the week before Black Friday because they have to have it out before Black Friday.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. Let's see. One of the other big releases coming out 2016 is Uncharted 4.
You were actually slightly relieved. A little bit of the pressure's off.
There's a silver lining to this story. Uncharted 4 was delayed for like the 17th time, or like the 34th time. I've lost count because they've had to fucking delay Uncharted 4 so many times. But now, first of all, I was like slightly worried because when you hear delays at the 11th hour like this, usually it's never a good sign.
Yeah.
But they said it's purely a production reason. Like, they want to have as many copies available because this game is going to be fucking huge because all of their marketing
they don't want a
for
shortage.
it has been incredible. Like, they're going all out. They don't want a shortage. And And Uncharted.
You didn't watch that most recent trailer, but that was a fucking cool trailer, dude.
Yeah, I'll watch it
me.
after the game. I usually will go back and watch trailers for stuff like that after I finish it, just to go back and experience it. But it has been delayed 2 weeks. It is now being released on May 10th. The silver lining in this is that I've said before, basically my two favorite video game series are Dark Souls and Uncharted, and they were coming out 2 weeks apart. We're just like, fuck you, gaming industry, man. Like, you got all of the weeks in the year to not put my two favorite shit together, and they did. So now I have a full month to have Dark Souls 3 just go Leo and the Bear on me.
I was gonna say, dude, 2 weeks to go through all of Dark Souls 3, that wasn't gonna happen.
I did full clear Dark Souls 2 in about 2 weeks, though. But
Did you?
Yeah, but that was back when I was like in my Dark Souls groove. Like I had played like Demons and Dark 1 in quick succession, so I was like actually good back then. I'm not good anymore.
We proved that neither one of us are good recently.
Yeah, no kidding. Fucking learn parries on Gwen. Fucking terrible. Yeah. So that was a little bit of a silver lining. If Dark Souls wasn't coming out when it is, though, I would have been really upset by this because Uncharted 4 just looks incredible. I just can't wait for it. You haven't even fucking played these games. You're looking forward to that just because of how good it just looked.
I've been looking forward to all of them. So.
When are you start? Have you figured out when you're starting them?
Probably this weekend.
Because you got. What is today? March.
Today is the second.
So you have right around 2 months to get 3 of them. Well, we've talked before. They're so cinematic, and it's not like Dark Souls where there's like a learning curve. So you should just blast right through them.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking.
I think you'll be able to.
You know, I've played so many games like the Assassin's Creed franchise and stuff like that. You know, it's not like I have to learn how to play and rewire my brain like I did Dark Souls.
And you played through most of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So you've played...
you waste no opportunity to point out.
Oh, no, because you're a son of a bitch for not finishing that fucking game. I don't care if you have a good reason. You're still a son of a bitch. So you have played, but in all seriousness, like the mechanics of Last of Us are Uncharted, but since it is more of like you have no equipment on you, Last of Us is basically Uncharted but more melee based.
Yeah.
So you have like a general idea of what the cover system is going to be like and stuff like that. So yeah, I think you'll blast through them pretty quickly. Not to mention, they're just fucking good games, so you'll want to go through them pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of difference too.
It really does. Like, how many years you've been sitting around trying to get caught up on Assassin's Creed? Like,
yeah,
it's pretty painful. I don't think you're ever going to get caught up on Assassin's Creed.
Probably not.
Did you finish the Ezio ones at least?
Oh yeah.
So you'll definitely never get caught up because you finished the good ones. Like, you tell me you don't want to rush to Unity.
Oh God!
I just can't wait to follow through the map, man. It's gonna be amazing. Well, I think that's gonna be a wrap up to today's episode. We appreciate you guys checking us out. If you'd like to follow all of our stuff, make sure and like and subscribe while you're on YouTube. That gets you all of our material, all of our Let's Plays, all of our commentaries, all the podcasts goes up to the YouTube channel. Also, check out our social media pages. We are on Facebook.com/TWBE Podcast, or also our Twitter. You can find us at TWBE Podcast.
And I wanted to just point out there's been no videos released recently on YouTube. I plan to start getting back into that, and we will have, I'm hoping Monday, probably Tuesday.
Well, it's kind of like the tree falls in the woods, like no one's around.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just... I needed a little bit of a break after all the editing in Dark Souls.
The Gwen thing alone was fucking. It's like
that was like 5 or 6 hours for that 30-minute video. So it was. Yeah.
Man, it would have helped if we got good at that game.
I know.
It would have really helped.
That would
have really helped. All right, thanks, guys. I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron,
and we will catch you on episode 50. I can't. That's just crazy to say that. Episode 50, man.
I know. I can't believe it.
We'll see you guys then.